Stoic Cosmopolitanism. Imagine you're standing in a crowded city square at dusk, watching thousands of strangers hurry past in every direction. Each person carries their own world of worries, dreams, and daily struggles, speaking different languages, wearing different expressions, pursuing different destinations. You feel simultaneously invisible among them and deeply connected to something larger than yourself. Here's the gentle paradox that emerges. How can you belong everywhere and nowhere at once? The ancient Stoics spoke of cosmopolitanism, the idea that every human being is a citizen of the cosmos itself, bound by invisible threads to all other rational beings. This creates a beautiful contradiction. The more deeply you understand your place as a citizen of the world, the less any single place can contain you. You become both homeless and eternally at home. On one hand, you were born into specific circumstances, a particular family, culture, nation, and set of traditions that shaped your earliest understanding of what it means to belong. These local attachments feel real and meaningful. They're the soil in which your identity first took root. On the other hand, the Stoic vision suggests that your truest citizenship lies not in any bounded territory, but in the vast community of rational, thinking beings scattered across time and space. Consider what happens when you meet someone from a completely different background. Initially, you might focus on the differences. They speak differently, dress differently, hold different beliefs about what matters most in life. But then a moment arrives. Perhaps they laugh at something you find funny, or you notice them showing kindness to a stranger, and suddenly you recognize something unmistakably familiar. In that instant, the boundaries that seemed so solid begin to dissolve. This recognition points toward what the Stoics called the fundamental kinship of all rational beings. Marcus Aurelius wrote about waking each morning and reminding himself that he would encounter difficult people, but that these same people shared his capacity for reason and moral choice. The paradox deepens. The more clearly you see what makes humans universally human, the more compassion you develop for their particular struggles and limitations. You might wonder how this cosmic citizenship actually works in practice. After all, you still live in a specific place, speak a particular language, and feel special obligations to certain people over others. The Stoic answer is surprisingly practical. You honor your local duties precisely because you understand their place within the larger whole. A parent caring for their child, a citizen participating in their community, a friend offering support. These specific loyalties become expressions of universal love rather than barriers to it. Think of it like being part of a vast orchestra. Each musician plays their particular instrument in their specific section, following their individual part. Yet the beauty emerges not from any single performance, but from how each person's unique contribution harmonizes with the whole. Your local attachments and specific responsibilities become the instrument through which you participate in the larger symphony of human flourishing. The emotional dimension of this paradox reveals itself in quiet moments. You find yourself caring about people you'll never meet, feeling genuinely concerned about suffering in distant places, experiencing joy when you hear about acts of kindness performed by strangers. This expansion of care beyond personal boundaries doesn't diminish your love for those closest to you. Paradoxically, it often deepens it by revealing love itself as something larger than personal preference. Yet cosmopolitan citizenship also carries a certain loneliness. When your deepest allegiance is to humanity as a whole rather than to any particular group, you sometimes find yourself standing slightly outside every circle. You may love your country while clearly seeing its flaws, cherish your traditions while questioning their limitations, feel deep affection for your community while recognizing the partiality of its perspective. This outside-insider position becomes a source of both insight and isolation. You develop what might be called moral clarity, the ability to see situations from multiple perspectives, to recognize the humanity in people others dismiss, to hold your own opinions lightly enough that truth can enter. But this same clarity can make you feel like a translator between worlds that don't always want to understand each other. The Stoics suggested that this sense of displacement is actually a form of spiritual maturity. When you're no longer entirely captured by any single identity or group loyalty, You become available for a different kind of service. The patient work of building bridges, asking better questions, and holding space for conversations that might otherwise never happen. Your homelessness becomes a kind of home large enough for everyone. As you drift towards sleep tonight, consider how this paradox lives in your own experience. Notice the moments when your heart expands beyond the boundaries of personal concern, when you feel connected to the struggles and joys of people you've never met, when you find yourself hoping for peace in places you'll never visit, when you recognize your own face in the faces of strangers. Perhaps cosmopolitan citizenship isn't about solving the tension between local love and universal care. Perhaps it's about learning to rest comfortably within that tension, letting it teach you something about the strange and wonderful architecture of human belonging. The paradox pulses gently like a heartbeat. You are most truly yourself when you remember you are everyone, most deeply rooted when you acknowledge you are free.